last time on Oz Hour?
Okay, last time on Oz Hour, Glinda and Scarecrow meet up and they go over the buck and they're like, Scarecrow, go help. And so he goes with his rope and his little brown spider. And that's all I'm going to say because there's really no reason to even get into this. We continue and what's her face, Gloria, is getting taken by the witch, by a Googalaboo, Googalaboo or Googalagoo, and they're all going to Winky's or Blinky's house, and she freezes her, or no, she gets these other witches. I jumped really far ahead. She gets these other witches and they do these little spells and they're like, your heart's frozen now. And she was like, yeah, my heart's frozen. And also Pawn and Trot, and is that it? Pawn and Trot? Who else is there? Oh my God, I can't even think. Yeah, they're there and they're looking and they're watching. They're like, this is horrible. I hate this for you. And she gets frozen heart and then she just like walks away and is like dead now, but like not dead, but like dead in the soul. And then the witches see Trot and Pawn, but then they like fly away or something. And then the other witch, Blinky, like starts following them in like a really creepy way. And they're following Gloria because Pawn's like, I'm still in love with her. And he tries to confess his love to her. She doesn't give a fuck because she's like, I'm dead in the soul. And what else happens? I'm just gonna skip ahead. Scarecrow shows up and he's like, I gotta help. But then he gets fucking tackled by the fucking Blinky and ripped to shreds. And then the grasshopper falls on him and then someone puts him back together. And then what else happens? That's it. I feel like that was so long.
Hi there, and welcome to episode 57 of Oz Hour, the only place where you can hear everything you never knew about the wonderful and strange land of Oz.
That's right. With the help of some alcohol, we will be discussing each of the 14 books in L. Frank Baum's Wizard of Oz series.
Today, we will be continuing with Book 9 of The Scarecrow of Oz, covering chapters 16 through 18.
We're your hosts, Blake Stone
and Wyatt Swangham.
And joining us, as always, is our resident Oz initiate, Hannah Aguirre.
We belong together, me and Buck.
Wow, and it was actually like Oz this
Yeah.
time, and
I know.
not something weird.
Still musicals.
Stuck in my head.
You're on that
We're
thing,
still trying to
but-
break her of the singing, but
It's not going to happen. You tell me no, I fight harder. I sing harder.
Okay, make them hear you, girl. Hannah, you just played last time on where you recapped what happened last time on Oz Hour. That took you 2 minutes and 10 seconds to cover. And I don't know. I felt like the quantity was there.
I think that was pretty good. There were some hiccups. I mean,
you know what? It's
you
very
know.
unbecoming. Very unbecoming.
if you want us to go back and do a full read, we will.
No, actually, roll it back, Trey. I will just clarify for the listeners that before Pawn and Trot follow Gloria, King Cruel, and Blinky to Blinky's house, Button Bright goes missing by wandering around Oz with reckless abandon.
When you were like, it's Trot and it's Pawn and I was like,
I didn't even
like,
know.
who's
yeah.
not
I was like,
there?
you are remembering something, but he's
I was
not
like,
there.
Button Bright didn't exist in my mind during that time.
Yeah.
No, it feels
Don't
like he's been
know.
gone for a while.
Don't know. So at the end of that chapter, at the end of our last episode, we are now left with Trot, Pawn, the Scarecrow, Captain Bill, who's a grasshopper, and Gloria. They're all together, Button Bright missing.
Yes.
Still gone.
And Winky has walked off into the wilderness trying to find the kids
Blinky.
again. Blinky.
What
I
do you
know.
think?
I
God.
said Winky too.
It's somewhere between Harry Potter and the Land of the Winkies. So anyway.
So before we started recording, Wyatt went ahead and whipped up some cocktails. I'm a little scared of this one. Tell the listeners about it.
Yeah, this is an experiment of mine, which technically all of these are, but this one is more high risk. Tonight we are drinking Burning Man, which is a scintillating combination of Fireball, cinnamon whiskey, and mezcal, and some ginger beer and lemon. And it should be spicy and burny and giving burn.
All right, slurp it up and try to keep it down.
All right. No,
You
that's
know,
good.
That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Chapter 16. Pawn summons the king to surrender.
So, when last we read, Scarecrow, Pawn, Captain Bill, Trot, they're all like talking and sharing information in the cornfield. And Gloria is like still hanging nearby them and is like listening.
Yeah.
But she's like over here, like, I'm icy.
Yeah. Like
I'm a
she
cold
doesn't
bitch.
care, but she is interested. And I mean, when she saw the Scarecrow's head, she was like, a talking grasshopper and a talking head, like that is just interesting. She doesn't have to have love for those things.
True.
So
Yeah.
she's just still there writing it out, basically.
Okay. She's like, this is a queer group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the queerest group I've ever seen. And like everyone's trying not to be too hard on her for being such a bitch because they know it's not her fault.
Yeah.
Which like I practice so often.
But the Scarecrow, like, I mean, seeing how yeah, they're all trying to just be like, Gloria, like, you're good, girl. Like, sorry, that sucks. And the Scarecrow's like, it's too bad I didn't get here sooner because, like, I probably could have saved Gloria. But I came as soon as I could. Like, we
Why
found
even
out.
say that?
I know, yeah. It's exactly.
Like, yeah, a lot could have happened if you
yeah.
got here
You
earlier.
know, if we were actually doing our job and running this part of Oz, I could have stopped any of this from happening.
Yeah. But, oh well. But Button Bright is still missing, though, as we know. It's useless to worry about him. So the Scarecrow's like, the rest of us are here. Let's turn our energies to a war council.
Yeah.
We're doing war now.
Everyone's like, we're in a war?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, wait. Wars happen really quick in Oz.
Yeah,
They do.
exactly.
And Scarecrow's like, I'm always involved. I've never missed a war.
Yeah.
I'm at every war.
Yeah.
That's literally what I was thinking. I was like, how many times has the Scarecrow been part of a war council?
He loves
Every
to war.
time. I think he's like
It's
the
the brains.
reason this is
It's the
happening.
brains.
Yeah, it's double
He has
distilled
too many.
brains.
Yep.
Yeah, way
Yep.
too many. But so that's where they decide to go, basically. So they
So-
sit down on the grass to do
Yeah.
that.
They sit down for their council, and Gloria actually comes and sits with them too. Captain Bill's still a grasshopper, so he's perched up on Trot's shoulder. And the Scarecrow starts the conversation by pointing out that King Cruel has usurped the throne. He is not the rightful ruler of Jinxland, as we know.
The crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
They love that.
Pawn
They're
is-
like, yeah.
Yeah, Pawn's like, yeah, and my father was king before him. And the Scarecrow interrupts him. He's like, you are a gardener's boy.
Oh my
Your
god.
father is not the rightful king either. He took it from Gloria's dad.
Yeah. Which is a good
It's
point,
ongoing.
kind of. I'm a little bit like, yeah, but like he was the prime minister and then the king disappeared, so he had to become king.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Cruel is
But-
the prime minister, and then the king disappeared.
Yeah, but he threw him down the pond on purpose and then trapped him there.
I wonder what Pawn's dad did.
I still agree. But that being said, the Scarecrow is like, Gloria is the only rightful heir to Jinxland. She's the only one that should be sitting on the crown. She's going to be queen. And Trot loves this. She's all about the girl power. And she's like, yes, that is great. She should be on the throne. Thank you.
Yeah.
But how are we going to do that? Because the king is not going to just give up the throne.
Scarecrow's
Yeah.
like, then we need to make him. And Trot's like, yes. What are we doing?
Yeah. And the Scarecrow thankfully has the best brains in all of Oz. Any brain that ever whiz or was. Yeah,
Whizzer
sorry.
was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's like, just give me some time to think. So they all give him time to think. Like Trot and Captain Bill are just in whispered conversation. Pawn is like,
And he's just like a little grasshopper.
yeah,
yeah,
he's just like on her shoulder. Like,
Yeah. He's whispering to her and she's
want
whispering
that.
back. Ew, you want like a little grasshopper with a wooden leg on your shoulder that's actually
Yeah,
an old
you're right.
sailor
he's
man.
like he's like spitting black shit on your
Ew.
neck.
Yeah, I'd crush him. I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, whoops.
Literally, you'd be like, I'm scared.
Captain Bill, stop! Captain Bill, it's not funny. He's just trying not to fucking die.
I know.
But they're having whispered conversation. Pawn is just like staring at Gloria with puppy dog eyes, and she's checking her nails. Like she doesn't care.
Yeah,
Um,
and he hate like it's just sad.
They
Like, and a little weird.
and a little weird. Like Pawn, you know what the situation is right now. Like,
Yeah.
stop. The hex may be broken later. You're not going to be the one to does it.
Yeah, it's not the
Yeah.
time right now.
But so the Scarecrow sits there for 30 minutes.
Yeah, half
Like,
hour.
sitting there working.
Totally
his brain.
silent.
Gears are turning.
Finally,
Oh
he's
my
like, he just like
gosh.
starts to laugh, and Trot's like, "Oh, the brains are working," and he's like, "Oh, they are." I just realized we'll just conquer King Cruel and put Gloria on the throne as the new queen.
Yeah.
Trot's like, "That's what you came up with?"
Yeah. She's like, that's great, but how?
Yeah, that's what we've been saying this whole
what
time.
the thing we were doing
Yeah.
was.
30 minutes ago,
How
that's
are
where
we
they
gonna
were.
conquer? I need definition of conquer.
Yeah. And well, but the Scarecrow has an answer to that.
Oh.
He says, leave it to me. That's all he says. He said, the first thing we need to do, though, is to ask them to surrender because it would be impolite not to ask the king to surrender before we go conquer
Yeah,
him.
but then he's gonna throw you in a dungeon. Then how are you gonna conquer?
Yeah. That is a very good question indeed.
They
Someone needs to be
realized
here and asking these questions. Like,
Where were you in Oz
I don't know.
1915?
They really should have called me. I should have been the one with the magic robe.
Oh my
Come on.
That was a lasso, but still.
Oh.
Sorry.
So they realize they don't have pen, paper, or ink to send a message to King Cruel. So
And
they just
this is the time for our first guest trivia.
that just actually frightened me.
Sorry. Blake
You
didn't
said
know.
someone's hurt.
But I thought it was kind of interesting the way that they referenced paper, pen, or ink. Like pen, like a quill, and like an inkwell, you know? So like I was like, oh, that's weird. It's 1915. Like I would think by now they would have like a different type of pen.
Like a fountain pen.
Yes. So this led me down an interesting road because I read about fountain pen or pens in general and the difference between a fountain pen and a pen and ink. So basically a fountain pen is the type, it has like the ink reservoir, it has like the weird little like pointy tip and you can write with it, but it's just full of ink. And it was like, that's what came after just a quill and ink. So I thought that was crazy. And it turns out the earliest fountain pen was made in 953 A current era, whatever, 953.
Oh, AD. Okay.
No,
I
yeah.
thought you were gonna say BC, and I was like,
No, it's still just as crazy because like some like Egyptian like royalty was like, I hate dipping my quill into my ink and then having to like do that. Can you put the ink in the pen?
Yeah.
And they figured it out.
I can't imagine a pen being made of anything other than plastic. So,
I
like,
know.
what did you do?
Yeah.
it would have been probably like papers or not paper, like wood or something. But
Oh.
that being said, that was the year 953. But it didn't really go anywhere
They
because
did
it was.
some crazy stuff in that year.
Oh yeah, yeah, they were
953 AD.
more than
before.
you know.
Crazy
But
year.
they so that was 953. And then it didn't really like go anywhere, like because it was just like this one guy wanted that, they made it for
Yeah,
him,
they
and then
didn't
like
have patents.
yeah,
back
it's not
then.
like they sent it around the world, so it just kind of ended. So my question for you, Hannah, is in what year was the first commercially successful fountain pen created?
Was
Your
it Bic?
options, your options are going to be 1421, 1775, 1829, or 1891.
I'm gonna say, what's C again?
1829. The one prior to that was 1775, and the one prior to that was 1421.
I'm gonna say C.
Final answer?
Final answer.
That is correct.
Okay.
Whoa!
Yeah, that is correct. So John Schaefer in Britain at the time, or England or whatever it was back then, patented the penographic, which I found to be an interesting
The
name.
phonogram.
Yeah. Oh my God, no.
It's like they will hear me.
Hear my roar.
God.
Oh my
But it was the first change in a writing utensil since the Middle Ages. Like literally they'd been using quill and ink until then. And then he was like, put the ink in the pen. And then it worked out really well.
Wow.
But I will say, I did
That's
read.
pretty later than.
It is way later than I would have
Yeah.
thought.
Like,
But I was just
literally,
like, they
I'm-
were writing. They signed their fucking names with a
Yeah.
quill.
I've seen
and
the
Yeah,
Declaration
the Declaration,
of Independence, so I
exactly.
knew it couldn't have been before 1775.
That's
Yeah.
how I
And then,
felt.
like 18, what was it? 18.
90.
1891.
Oh yeah, that seemed too late.
Well, so interestingly, well, first of all, 1400s apparently, they speculate that Da Vinci had a fountain pen that he made himself because the way he was writing.
Okay, he couldn't have done everything. They like literally. they say he did everything. I don't believe it. I don't think he was that smart, really.
Well, okay,
Oh, we gotta.
but
we gotta hate
anyway, he did. But basically, they said because of the way his writing looked, it would have been like impossible that he was using quill and ink because it's like a continuous flow of ink. Like it doesn't
The
peter
man
out.
was psychotic.
yes, he created his own personal pen and never patented it. He was psychotic. But anyway, so
Could've
that's
made
what
a lot
they
of
think.
money.
And then just to round out everybody's thought process, the first ballpoint pen that was commercially successful, like the kind we use today, was 1938.
Bic?
And that, I believe, was Bic.
Wow.
But I don't know. So anyway,
So-
that's your pen history.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
they should have had it back then for a fountain pen, but all they had was quill and ink in Oz, or at least in fucking wherever they are, Jinxland.
This has been Pen History with Wyatt Swingham.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, on Disney Channel.
Well, I was using a pen.
So we got there from saying that they don't have paper, pen, or ink to send a message to King Cruel. So the Scarecrow is like, Pawn, you're going to go and ask the king politely to surrender.
No, thank you.
Oh, well,
No,
here's
thank
the
you.
thing. My name is the fucking Scarecrow, and I just appointed myself head of the army of conquest, and I'm not taking no for an answer.
Yeah, literally.
But it's like, literally, Pawn is the most dangerous person to put in that situation.
Yeah.
Like, Gloria, she might not come back, but she's not going to get hurt.
yeah, she won't be hung.
Yeah, Pawn might get, his ass murked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to be rotting in the river with his dad.
Yeah. So they all agree. Like, basically, Pawn's like, okay, fine.
You're going to rot in the river with your dad. You are going to rot in the river with your dad.
It's giving Winter's bone.
Oh.
I know, but they all agree to just go back to his hut with him, and then from there, Pawn is going to just go on his own. So they're all at the hut, and he's gone. Pawn is feeling pretty anxious. He's beginning to doubt the Scarecrow.
He's like, okay, wait, hold on. I don't know any of these people.
Yeah, and by people, he does mean a scarecrow, a grasshopper, a little girl, and a frozen-hearted princess.
Yeah. He's like, I just had to stuff that guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he's very trustworthy.
Yeah,
like-
he got
and-
like tackled down in like one swing.
By an
Yeah.
old woman.
An
Yeah.
old woman witch just like destroyed him on accident almost.
Yeah, and we had to put him back together.
Yeah,
or
after
else
they
he would have
tricked
just
the
been
witch.
there.
Yeah. So that was Pawn's inner saboteur telling him, girlfriend.
Yeah.
don't
Listen to
go
your
in
gut.
there."
Listen
But
to your gut.
he's like, I have to try at least. I gotta try. And thankfully, something that maybe is why the Scarecrow had this idea, but he just walks into the castle. Like the guards know he's Pawn, the gardener's boy. Like they don't really pay attention to him.
Yeah.
So he
but it's
walks
like,
right
they
in.
know what's going on, right?
I guess so.
I
They,
would
they probably
assume.
should know, but they didn't. I mean,
Yeah,
they just
they're like, he
didn't.
works here, he's staff. They're like, hey, Pawn, did you
Yeah.
clock in? He's like, I'm not fixing your time card again. He's like, I
Yeah.
clocked in.
Yeah.
They have no idea what's happening.
No. And so he enters through the castle, goes to the court to like where we first met King Cruel, and he's there talking to a bunch of his followers or his courtiers or whatever. And the king is pissed when he sees Pawn because he blames him for everything bad, basically,
Yeah.
which is not fair. Well, it's not fair at all because Pawn didn't ask for any of this, but also like the king is the one that froze the princess's heart that now can't love Googly Goo.
Yeah, I'm
So-
sorry that you didn't wait for her there while the operation happened and take her home.
Oh my God, yeah, seriously.
Very
But
true.
King Cruel is
There's
like,
consequences for your actions.
yes,
Yeah.
dude, go find her. What are you doing sitting on your throne
Yeah.
for?
But like, also, I'm glad she's not there.
Yeah.
I'm glad he shirked his responsibilities, but he can't be mad.
You're making dumb decisions, and people are going to be upset at it, and people
Mhm.
might want to fight back when
Yeah.
you do
Fight
certain
back.
They're
things.
going
You
to want to do
suck,
that.
dude. Like, would you rather be respected or feared? I'd rather be feared.
Well, so would King Cruel.
Being cruel.
I'd rather be feared. But King Cruel is like, Pawn, what have you done with Princess Gloria? And Pawn is like, dude, I haven't done anything. She doesn't even love me. Like, she doesn't look at me.
Yeah.
And King Cruel's like, then what are you doing here, you little weasel? And like, I just call him Ron.
Because you said weasel.
Pawn, yeah, I think that is what happened. Pawn is so scared. He wants to run away, but there's no way out. So he just like tries to pluck up some courage, and he's like, I'm here to summon your majesty to surrender. And King Cruel's like, do what? Like,
Yeah, he's like-
surrender to who?
And he is pissed. Like, he's already pissed, which it's like, he doesn't even know things yet.
Yeah.
But Pawn is like, the Scarecrow.
I honestly, I feel like Pawn is like, oh my god. I can't believe
Yeah,
I'm
he's
saying
like,
this.
why this?
The Scarecrow. And he's like, what? Speak up. And he's like, the Scarecrow.
Oh no.
And this kind of like everybody like doesn't know what that means, so they kind of start laughing or like chuckling. The king is just even more pissed now because he's like, what is going on? And he gets so pissed, actually, that he has the guards grab Pawn, and they hold on to him. And the king beats him with his golden staff. He beats the hell out of him. It's disgusting. He breaks his ribs. He does it until he is so tired he's panting.
It says he beats him until he's too exhausted to keep beating him.
Yeah, he's swinging his staff, hobbles him in the knees,
I hate the
breaks
Scarecrow.
his toes. I know. So then,
Why?
Well,
We'll talk about it.
so the king gets tired of
I'm
swinging.
having
finally,
flashbacks with the Scarecrow right now. I'm like, I really used to fucking hate him.
You actually were very anti-Scarecrow.
Yeah, and now I'm back, and I'm gonna be petitioning at your local university. Okay,
he just shouldn't be in charge.
This should be
Some
the
of
Shaggy Man of Oz. I trust him way more.
Oh my god.
But Pawn, finally, they let go of Pawn because the king is so exhausted from beating him. And Pawn just takes off, shoots out the front door, is sobbing the entire way back to his hut because every step he runs is hurting his body.
No.
He is so beaten and battered.
God.
And he gets back to his hut and he comes in, falls on the floor just sobbing. And Scarecrow's like, so did he surrender?
I feel like everyone is making his life worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they came,
If they never showed up.
I mean, his life still probably would have been pretty fucked.
It would have been pretty sad, but it wouldn't be this
it's
bad.
more fucked now, I think.
The thing is, it is more fucked up.
Blinky
now.
still would have frozen Gloria's heart. They were going to get there.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
just some of the things that Pawn's gone through would not have happened.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
way more traumatizing than it needs to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, he the Scarecrow's like, did he surrender? And Pawn is like, nope, he pretty much just beat my fucking ass.
Yeah, he beat me to death, actually.
Yeah, if I
And-
could die, I would have just been beaten to death.
Yeah, Trot feels so bad. She's disgusted and horrified, and it's just oh my god. And
She's
Princess
probably never
Gloria.
seen
Like, what the
anyone-
fuck did you guys think was gonna happen?
I know.
Trot's 2.5
They
years old.
hate
She's never
him.
seen anyone be beaten like that before. I've never seen anyone be beaten like that before.
Yeah.
But
Oh god.
yeah, Pawn feels horrible. Gloria's just giving nothing. And
Yeah, she's just sitting looking at him.
Ugh.
She doesn't
and
care.
Captain Bill hops over to the Scarecrow. He's like, so what's the plan now, dude?
Yeah.
And the Scarecrow's just like, conquer.
Conquer. That's what he says. And he says that he will go alone because he's the only one that can't be hurt. They can hit him with swords, they can spear him with spears, they can beat him up, but he has quote no nerves,
No pain
which is kind of
tolerance.
gross.
So why didn't he go the first time?
I know. I
His
don't
name
know.
is King Cruel.
Cruella.
Yeah.
And he's already beaten up Pawn before.
Yeah. This is
What
not.
makes you think that he's gonna Pawn's gonna come at him and then not get beaten
Actually,
up?
yeah.
He
He's
just
beaten
beat
Pawn
him
so many
with
times.
a
Yeah.
stick.
Yeah. Until he was tired.
God,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So I don't know why the
We're
Scarecrow
pissed.
didn't do this to begin with, but he's like, I'm going to go. I can't be hurt. I can't feel anything. And he clarifies there's only one thing they can do to injure me, but I don't think that they're going to think of it. So I'll conquer that
lip
king
match.
easily. Okay. Well, it's funny you say that.
he said it in the first book. He said it in the movie.
Yeah.
He said the only thing I'm
That's all I
afraid
hear
of
from
is
the
a ladder
Scarecrow.
match.
And let me tell you, I want to get a lip match.
Oh my God. You're like, you know his secret and you'll be finding him, but he doesn't sleep.
Trot is like, so what's the one thing that can hurt you? And the Scarecrow's like, oh, doesn't matter. They won't think about it.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'm going to go back. And we were going to ask what your prediction was as to what could injure him.
You said it so
but
immediately.
you said it already. Yeah. Which is
Ooh,
the
I'm smart.
same. That would be my expectation too. And so he's like, yeah, I'm going to go. And Pawn is like, well, you don't have any weapons on you. And he's like, no, I don't carry weapons because I might accidentally hurt someone.
That would
and
make
I don't
me
want to
very
do that.
sad.
Yeah. And then he's like, but I'll take that whip that you have in the corner there.
they fasten it into his arms like
Yeah. And so he takes that with him. The Scarecrow is like, "Okay, guys, I'll BRB,"
he
and then
basically
he
just prances.
yeah,
out of the house.
he just lumbers out on his way.
I hate him.
Yeah. Well, that is the end of chapter 16. Pawn summons the king to surrender, which I guess he will be doing. But Blake, what would you call that?
I would call that the royal pain.
Oh.
Chapter 17. the orc rescues Button Bright.
He
Yeah.
hasn't
give her a
even
minute, give her a
met
minute.
Button Bright yet.
They have.
No, yeah, because they
They
met
found him
on
in
the
the
Bumpy
snow.
Man's
Oh
hill.
yeah, that's right. They were on the mountain together.
Yeah,
But
it is still a
very
little
briefly,
crazy.
very
Yeah.
briefly.
Oh my god.
So, as you might
Flashback.
imagine, yeah, we're going back to what Button Bright has been up to. Button Bright, he's very go with the flow. Things don't really worry or concern him. So even though he's lost, he's just wandering around hoping he finds Pawn's hut again, but he's really not worried about it.
Yeah. And like he like misses Trot and Captain Bill and he's like, "Oh, no, where are they? Those are my friends." But he's also like he's not unhappy. Like there's birds singing, there's pretty
It's a little
flowers.
lonely.
Yeah, he's like if anything, but he's like I'll be fine. So
Yeah.
like he's chilling.
He's appreciating the scenery. He's like, the king here sucks, but this place rocks. Like, this is
Yeah.
beautiful. And I'm
Love the
sorry
positive attitude.
because I know, I promise I'm going to stop bringing Over the Garden Wall into thing. But this is giving Over the Garden Wall so hard because he's just like strutting through this meadow and he's like, la, 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 la. And then like a prairie dog is like, whoa, 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 please walk around my hole. You'll disturb the babies.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And keeps on going. He's like whistling, whoo, hoo, hoo, hoo. And then a voice is like, hey, would you stop that? That is a very annoying noise. And like Button Bright looks around and he sees a gray owl and he's like, okay, Mr. Fussy. And then he just keeps on walking. He's like, la, 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 la.
What?
I don't know what is happening.
it's crazy.
Where are we?
I don't know why any of that happened, but that's how he spent his morning.
That's his morning.
But then at noon, he gets to this old couple's house, and they're very kind, and they feed him, and they're
Their
nice.
house is made of candy.
No. But the man is deaf, and the woman is dumb, so he can't ask them any questions about where Pawn's house is or explain what's going on. He just has to eat and be happy, and then he just has to leave as lost
He
as ever.
probably
Still
talked.
lost.
He probably talked the entire time he was with them. Like, he probably didn't come up for air, not once.
No.
And they
Yeah.
were just like staring. So Button Bright remembers that King Cruel's castle is near a grove of trees. So like after he leaves their house, he just keeps on like every time he sees a group of trees, he's like, "Oh, I'm going over there now."
Yeah, just to check. And then he like ends up just walking through, and
He's
there's
getting
no
himself
castle.
more lost.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's like I don't know in this
gosh.
situation if it's the rule where you stay where you are or if you just keep going cuz like it's
Yeah,
a
you
weird
have to
place.
find
It's not the
something.
real world, you know.
Yeah.
And there are he could stay with that old couple forever. What if he just
Yeah.
took over their house in 10 years?
He's having a full on the girl who loved Tom Gordon right now, and he just has to keep walking until he,
He
finds
is giving
something.
that.
Yeah, he's being followed by a bear. Invisible bear.
Oh.
God, I
But-
forgot about the invisible bears.
Me too.
Anyway,
So as he's going through all these groves of trees, like he goes through one, no castle, and then he'll see another one, go through that one, no castle. But then he passes through one, and when he emerges, he's face to face with the orc, just standing there watching him.
How far has he been walking?
dude, he's been walking
seems
all
pretty
day.
far.
He's
Yeah.
he
At-
was up before.
How far can his little legs go?
At this point, it's been days, I think.
No.
Oh, you're right.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Nina.
Yep, you're right.
It's today. He left this morning.
No, you're right. You're right.
But it's probably been like 8 to 9 hours, maybe. I feel like it's like late afternoon. So Button Bright like finds the orc and he's like, "Whoa, where'd you come from?" And the orc is like, "I found Orkland, dude. It's actually not far away from Jinxland at all."
Yeah, it's
Oh.
super close. And he got back and he wanted to come back sooner to like tell them and like help out his friends, but everyone back home, like his family and stuff, went crazy.
Reunion after reunion after
Yeah,
reunion.
literally he was like there were so many celebrations that like
They're
I
like-
just could not
They're
get
like,
away.
"Flipper, we're shutting down the block."
Yeah.
Flip is back.
Flipper, hey, it's Flipper.
Hey, Flip. And so that was going on for days. Like apparently. Well, I guess only a couple days.
It's been like 2 days, yeah.
Yeah, it's God, I just keep thinking the time frame is bigger.
It
but
doesn't make sense.
either way, he had a really good time, but finally he's back. And he's like, "Oh, like where are Trot and Captain Bill?" Like he was like, "I saw you like walking around." And I was like, "That Button Bright?" So I just stopped here to see where you came out of the trees. And Button Bright's like, "Oh, like I don't know where they are. I have no idea. Like,
Yeah,
like Trot and I were locked out of the castle. Cat and Bill was disappeared. Pond and the princess are in love.
Oh my god,
That's
he doesn't
all.
even know
And
about the
yeah,
princess.
The orc
And
doesn't know any of
the
this.
orc is like, okay, we need to go find them. They endanger girl. And Button Bright's like, yeah, but like I'm literally lost right now. Like I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I am lost.
We don't know. I don't know where I am. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know, so I'm lost. Loner. O, off on my own. S, sincerely lost. T, don't know. I don't know. I was almost there. It almost was so
Yeah.
anyway, the orc is like, that's fine. I saw the castle when I was flying around. So if we just get up in the sky, if I get high enough, I'll see the castle. We'll find the castle. You'll point me to Pond's house. We'll be cool. So that's what they do.
They're like right next to the castle.
They're not far.
Not that far. It doesn't seem like.
I mean, not for an orc's flight.
He's like, I
at
can
least.
go up 15 feet and I'll see everything's
Yeah.
right here. I see your
Yeah.
friends. I see the castle. I see everyone.
There's like a witch wandering around out there.
There's a witch that is like looking a little scary.
That is so funny. No, really, it is.
Okay.
So yeah, that's just what happens. They find the castle. Button Bright's like, oh, there's Pond's house. So they go down to the hut, and like everyone runs out, and they're like, oh my god, like what the fuck? Like, hi. And the orc is surprised that Captain Bill's been turned into a grasshopper, and he's like, how do you like it? And Captain Bill's like, always worried about being stepped on. Don't like eating grass. And he's like, cool, cool, cool.
He hates it.
Cool. Interesting.
Can I say something? He says that eating grass must be an acquired taste. When I was in middle school, I read this book called Beast, and it was like a retelling of Beauty and the Beast about this Persian prince who upsets a fairy and gets turned into like a lion, like a real lion. Day one of him being a lion, he fucks like 3 lionesses. And he's like, I didn't want to, but it was just like my primal instinct. And it felt so good. So
Whoa.
I think Captain Bill can eat a little grass.
Wow. Oh.
I didn't realize how crazy that was going to be.
When did you read that book?
6th grade.
Oh my god.
I kind of want to read it again. I don't really remember.
I know. I'm
the-
like, can you forward me the link?
And it was for like children, or not like children. I mean, because he gets like circumcised at the age of like 13 at the beginning of the book, like first chapter. I think a white woman wrote it.
Book? The Beast?
Beast. Donna Jo Napoli.
Whoa. You know her full name?
Dude, it was kind of a crazy book to read. It really stuck with me.
Well, okay. Well, okay. Everybody out there, Blake is endorsing the book Beast,
I don't know.
written
It's
by a
his
white
favorite
woman about a
book.
Persian
Okay.
prince who circumcises.
DM us if you want us to do a bonus episode where we cover Beast.
I'm not doing it.
So the orc is like, yeah, dude, sorry you've been transformed. That's rough.
Yeah. The orc does say something really weird, though. He asks if Captain Bill is the type of grasshopper that can give molasses.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I Googled that and I found like catching grasshoppers with molasses because they like get stuck in it. But then I was also thinking, is that black shit they spit out?
So I went on an extreme deep dive on this because I was like, give molasses. And my first thought was, oh, like how you like when you catch the grasshoppers, sometimes like they'll spit in your hand and it's black. And I was like, are they calling that molasses?
That's what I thought.
And they are, in fact. However, the only thing aside from molasses traps to catch grasshoppers, which was the only thing that Google wanted to tell me.
God, is there an echo in here?
I know. Yeah, exactly. I'm reiterating that point. I found 3 sources. One of them is a Facebook group in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia Memories of Days Gone By. This is a quote
What
from
is happening right now?
Vicky Mossman Conrad. Quote, grasshopper, grasshopper, give some molasses, or I'll kill you today and bury you tomorrow. Did you say this with a grasshopper held in your closed hands? Did he give you molasses? ? So that's some woman.
Whoa.
We have to find her and interview her.
We have to. Moss Man, call us.
So that
Charlie, reach out.
yeah,
We're gonna get our producers on it.
So that's one thing.
Okay, I get it. Like I
The
never
other thing I found,
heard that before, but I'm gonna start doing it when I catch grasshoppers now.
that's a good idea to tell them that. There's also this Popular Science monthly from like sometime in like the early 20th century, and there's a reference to a bunch of rhymes about insects, but rhymes or whatever. One of them is grasshopper, grasshopper gray, give me some molasses or I'll cut off your head and throw you away.
Jesus Christ! And Captain Bill is a gray grasshopper.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my god, he's got it. He's not saying
It is
He's
funny
not
though
safe,
because
and it's a
when the
reference.
orc asks him if he's the kind of grasshopper that gives molasses, Captain Bill's like, "Dude, I don't know, maybe not. The only way to find out might be to get crushed. I don't want that." So
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's what I'm
so
trying to
that's
avoid.
because of the poems.
Yes, it is exactly. There's also references to it being called tobacco juice, and then there's also ladybug, ladybug, fly away home, which we all know and love.
I don't know that.
Never heard of
So-
that.
Those are the references, but I just could not believe that I couldn't find anything more about that because, like, finding the one reference in Popular Science, but I'm like, but there's no other reference to a grasshopper giving molasses.
Yeah, what was
Just
the
so
date? What was
weird.
the date for that
Like,
article?
what did L. Frank Baum think that everyone was going to think about that? That's my question.
They all knew it.
And then, but exactly, it's like, how did
It's a secret club.
it's lost? What else did they say back then?
He's a Freemason.
It's molasses. So anyway, that's what molasses is from a grasshopper, but it's really just spit.
It's like like half digested plant matter.
Yeah, and like
which
little
to us
enzymes.
is harmless, but can hurt something else that tries to mess with it, I guess. Also, grasshoppers can bite. They can draw blood.
Oh, really?
I'm catching those things all the time. I'm like, come here. They bite.
Yeah.
Really?
I did not know that.
I would
they're
bite.
they're the same species as
And you're like, yeah, I'd bite.
they're the same species as a praying mantis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're cousins of the praying mantis. So, but they're just herbivores, so they don't bite as often. But they bite.
I feel like I was
Interesting.
literally this whole time picturing a praying mantis,
Oh no, this is a grasshopper deer.
like the things that are green.
Hop in the grass.
You're thinking of like a cricket?
What's the difference?
Crickets and grasshoppers are very similar, but they're not the same. Grasshoppers are much bigger than crickets. You and Charlie were screaming because a grasshopper was hopping near you in like Missouri or something.
Oh, I
Those
remember that.
people in that car were laughing at you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought that was a big
Huge.
moth.
No, it was a grasshopper.
It was a
Oh.
grasshopper.
It just they were huge.
It was the biggest thing I've ever seen.
That grasshopper just wanted to get away from you, and you're like,
I know. I was like running towards it, and I thought I was running away.
it's like Anyway, oh my god. So, the orc and Button-Bright are with the rest of the friends. They learn about Gloria's heart being frozen, and the Scarecrow coming from Oz to help them. And the orc is like, God, I don't really like the idea of that Scarecrow facing King Cruel alone. Like, he might fuck all of this up.
Thank God we have the orc
I know, I
back.
love
Yeah.
him.
Everything has been chaos ever since he's left. He is the only rational person.
That's
like
actually so
he was keeping
true.
everyone aligned. He always had a plan.
Yeah.
Like everything would be okay if the orc just stayed.
Do you remember that one time when we were like, why is Captain Bill asking the orc like when they're gonna leave? Because he wasn't.
Turns out it's not a bad idea.
No, literally. Everyone's like on their last fucking leg.
But, yeah, the orc is like, okay, I'm in your army too now.
Thank God.
And Trot is like, okay, like what are you gonna do? And the orc is like, wait and see. And I'm like, why is no one answering that question?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
We're not an army. We're not an army if we can't
Why
communicate.
is no one explaining how the
Yeah.
conquest works?
Let's-
Because there's not enough people right now for a conquest to happen.
Let's plan. Let's make a plan.
Be a unified front, baby.
Well-
So the orc is like, okay, I'm gonna fly back to Orkland. It doesn't take that long. I'll see you soon. Just stay here. He's like, hey, back up. I'm gonna wind up my tail. And he winds up his tail, and he flies off. And Button-Bright is like, do you think he's ever gonna come back? And Trot's like, oh no, we can depend on him. The
Yeah.
orc is
Yeah,
awesome.
we trust him.
And I'll tell you one thing right fucking now. When the orc does come back, there's going to be one king of Jinxland who's going to fucking wish he didn't. And
Yeah.
I'm like, why do we know that about the orc?
Yeah, I like it, but you're saying too
Trot's
much.
going crazy.
Yeah.
That was her close up. And she was like, okay, I'm going to kill this. But that is the end of chapter 17. The orc rescues Button Bright. And Blake, what would you call that?
Orc-word timing.
Yeah. Chapter 18. The Scarecrow meets the enemy.
Snap back to the Scarecrow. He's like arriving at the castle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he has no fear. He's actually having fun in this moment.
He's skipping
Yeah,
into
he's
the
like,
castle.
I'm
going
gonna make another girl ruler. How about
Oh
me?
yeah, literally. He's obsessed with girl rulers. Yeah.
women's rights.
So he walks up to the castle and demands to be let in. And the guards are still on that rule where every stranger gets to come in. So they just
Bad rule.
let him in.
Yeah.
They just open the gates up, which is insane,
No
especially
one's
after
telling
everything that
these
happened.
guards what's going on.
No.
No. King Cruel is like in the middle of settling a dispute among like some of his subjects, and he sees the Scarecrow come in. And he's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And the Scarecrow's like, "I'm the Scarecrow of Oz, and I command you to surrender yourself, my prisoner." And it's like, whoa! I didn't know we were taking him for prisoner.
Yeah. I didn't know he was going to use the voice.
I'm the Scarecrow. Crow. King Cruel is like, why would I surrender to you? And the Scarecrow is like, I decided that you are too cruel to rule such a beautiful country. Jinxland is a part of Oz. You owe your allegiance to Ozma. King Cruel starts shaking in his little yellow rain boots because he knows that's fucking true.
Yeah.
He knows,
that's a
he's like,
good
oh, I know
point.
that name.
Yeah. But he never really thought this would come up, is the thing. Like, he was like,
no
no one
strangers
has
come
really.
here.
Yeah, he's like, no one's ever come here before. Maybe that's why the rule is strangers have to or are allowed to go straight to him because he wants to, like, see if they're from Oz. I don't know, actually. But he is not happy about this. But he is like, okay, I'm just going to laugh. I'm going to laugh at you.
Play it cool.
Yeah,
Play it cool.
tell you that you're a fucking loser. I'll talk to you later on. I'm busy right now.
Yeah, he's like, go stand over there. I'm busy right now. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Yeah. And the Scarecrow turns to everyone else and he says, I declare in the name of Ozma that this man is no longer ruler.
Whoa.
And he's like, you don't have to do it, he says. Gloria is the new queen and you have to obey her now. And everyone's like,
They're like kind of looking at King Cruel because they're like, but we don't like him at all.
They hate him.
Yeah.
So they're like
Okay.
kind of seeing how he's reacting. They're wondering if they, because you don't want to be the guy who goes, yeah,
Yeah.
and then King Cruel's like, no.
Head chopped off.
Yeah, 10 years dungeon. So they're like kind of looking at him, and the king at this point is obviously fucking pissed. So he takes his metal scepter or whatever, his gold staff, and knocks the Scarecrow to the ground. Like, he just bonks him on the head. Everyone keeps pushing him down.
Well,
Yeah.
he doesn't have a head.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Scarecrow immediately gets back up
Yeah.
and he whips King Cruel.
That's right.
Yeah, he grabs his whip and he right across his face.
Yes!
And King Cruel is screaming. It hurts so bad. He's literally never been whipped in his life,
That's what
probably.
he fucking gets.
And he commands the guards to capture the Scarecrow. And they begin to impale the Scarecrow with swords and spears. Yeah, they just
Doesn't
like
matter.
it's a game. Yeah, the Scarecrow's just like that
He's just,
tickles.
yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my God, yeah.
But it is kind of giving Scarecrow body horror. Dum, dum,
It
dum.
is, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, say it. Scarecrow
body
body
horror.
Alright, I want to say it with you guys.
Scarecrow body horror. Yeah.
We're back.
Yeah. But it is because he's getting torn up, but he doesn't care.
He's completely outnumbered. He can't.
yeah.
They're surrounding him. He can't get away. Googly Goo's there. He comes out of nowhere with a rope.
For some reason, he has rope.
Where
Did
did
you take
get
it from
that?
the Scarecrow?
No, he just has it in his hands. I don't know why.
He doesn't. That's not even his house.
I know, but he has the rope.
What is he?
He ties Scarecrow's legs together. He binds Scarecrow's arms to his body. It's game over for the Scarecrow.
Yeah. And the king is rampaging.
He's like still jumping around from the pain from his whip, and he's like, "Take that motherfucker to the prison."
Yeah.
And one guy picks the Scarecrow up and does that.
Yeah, because he is no wait.
So just
And I don't think
What
the
is he-
Scarecrow's like saying or doing anything right now. He's just like,
Yeah, that's true.
he's
I was
like just straw everywhere.
yes, honestly,
From
after
all
the
his
pummeling,
holes.
yeah, that is weird actually. But at this point, like the king is still enraged. He's like talking to himself. He's like, "I'm gonna fucking get the Scarecrow," and everybody who was there is still there. So they're kind of like, "Let's just get out of here."
let's give him
Like
some space.
this is kind of weird. Like for a minute we thought we were being liberated from his cruelty, and now he's just like plotting all this. So they like start to leave and like kind of slink away home, but not Googly Goo.
Oh, Googly Goo's never late.
He remains.
Googly Goo gets this shit-eating grin on his face, and he walks up to the throne, and he's like, "I'll tell you exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna light that motherfucker on fire."
Oh my god.
We're going to build a bonfire.
How'd they know?
Well,
It's like they
Just
know
common
they know
sense,
they
I
can't,
guess.
yeah, because they know they can't hurt him. So it's like, how else are you going to
That's
destroy
true.
him completely?
They just tried
Yeah.
impaling him
Yeah.
and bonking him
They
on the
want
head.
him to be gone.
and the king loves this. Obviously, he literally hugs Googly Goo, and he's like,
No.
"Of course, I should have thought of that myself," which he should have.
I don't want him
like,
to be. I
and
don't
then-
like the Scarecrow, but
and
I don't
then-
want him to be burned alive.
Yeah,
You're
you-
regretting some of those things you
Yeah.
said, huh?
I'm sorry.
Because he
the
heard
last
you.
thing- that's the last thing he ever heard you say.
Yeah, because he's gone now.
But yeah, so these two like are like, we're gonna burn his ass alive, and then they like, I don't know, probably turn around and like do some villain song that's like,
So the man comes to the palace, trying to
Bad we hunt on him,
Grabbing the wood. Grabbing the wood.
So so the king commands the guards to build a great bonfire in like this open space. It's kind of like a little park, and he's like, "Hey, on the palace grounds, build a big bonfire."
Oh, and also invite everyone to come watch what happens when you try to defy my fucking power.
Yeah,
an
he's like,
example
"Gather
out of
all the
him."
people," and after some time. There's this huge crowd. Like everybody in Jinxland is like filing in because I think they're being forced to. I don't think they just want
They
to see
do not
someone
want to
burn.
watch this.
Yeah, but all
This
his
guy
servants
just almost saved their lives.
I know. So all the servants are like,
They should have done something too.
You're all right
And they're all right there.
You outnumber the king.
It's bystander syndrome, you know, or whatever they call that thing, the bystander effect. And that's what's happening because there's these servants who are just building up this huge bonfire. They're putting on like dry sticks and dry grass and like
it's right
you
in
know,
the middle of the
everything.
square. The pile, the burn pile, is so big that this bonfire is going to be seen from miles away, and it's daytime.
They're
Yes.
gonna burn down their whole fucking village just to kill
They
one
don't,
Honestly.
scarecrow.
they don't have Smokey the Bear. They don't realize what they're doing. As
Yeah,
Literally.
characters.
You're gonna destroy Jinxland, and then y'all will have to be refugees in Oz.
Oh my god, it'll just become part of the desert.
Oh my gosh.
How awful. But
After this, they're not going to get to go to Oz. They're all going to run south of the border. They're going to go to, South America. They're going to Argentina. They're hiding out from Ozma.
so far. But the king has his throne moved outside so that he can sit and watch, and he calls for the Scarecrow. And this is where we are reminded that the only thing the Scarecrow is afraid of is fire, which we of course remember. But L. Frank Baum reminds us. And he also reminds us that he would burn very easily. And the Scarecrow is kind of reflecting like, once I'm ashes, like there's not much left of me. Like
the thing is,
there's
he
nothing to
won't
be
die.
done.
He's still ashes. But
It
like,
makes me wonder.
his friends will never be able to like. What can they put the ashes
Yeah.
into a new Scarecrow?
He's
Like,
thinking
And he'll
of-
be mixed up with other
yeah,
ash.
so
he'll
that's
be
the thing.
gone.
Like, he knows it's not going to hurt him, but he's like, I'm gonna be gone forever. And when like Princess Ozma and Princess Dorothy find out I've been burned up, they
It's
are
too
going to be
late.
so sad.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like sad that all of his friends are gonna have to like live without him, and they didn't have a chance to stop it.
Yeah, and he'll just no longer exist. Like he'll be burned up away.
Damn.
And his ashes are gonna fly away, and he gets marched
Stop.
through the crowd to the burn pile, and he's being very brave boy about it. And
We
he
need the orc.
turns to King Cruel, and he is just like, this wicked deed is going to cost you your throne. It's going to give you so much suffering.
Yeah.
When my friends find
Ozma's
out what
gonna
you did
be
to me,
pissed.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, when my friends find out, you are fucking done.
Yeah.
And the king's like, your friends will never know what happened here because you're the only one who's going to see, and you will not be able to tell them because I'm going to burn you until there's nothing left.
So they,
Bitch, you got the whole fucking town here.
yeah.
they're not gonna
no
talk.
one's going to tell
Yeah.
Ozma.
You think
No
there's not
one.
going to be gossip being spread
They-
around?
tie the Scarecrow to a stake. They put him like at the top of the burn pile.
And then they start heaping all the stuff around him. So
Yeah.
it's like touching him.
like he's part of the burn
of the
pile.
kindling, yeah.
And Googly Goo the brass band starts playing like
Yeah.
a happy tune.
yeah.
Like smashing plates. But Googly Goo comes forward with a lighted match.
Yeah.
No.
Specifically a lighted match.
And
Stop.
he throws it on the pile.
Yeah.
Stop. No, you guys are
I'm
lying.
not
No,
lying.
immediately the flames shoot up. They start licking at the
No,
Scarecrow.
you guys are
They're
lying.
literally
There's a fucking illustration.
and
What?
everyone is enchanted by the fire.
Like they are so
This is the illustration.
Why am I going to cry?
like everyone
Oh my
is
God.
so, like
I'm
we're gonna
crying.
put that photo on the story.
So the Scarecrow is everyone's enchanted by the fire. Like they're like horrified by what's
Yeah, like,
happening.
the townspeople are like, oh
They
my
can't
god,
look
this is
away.
Oh my God.
so sick.
And
My
his
stomach
fire lights
hurts.
ablaze. Or his leg lights ablaze.
No.
A big fire leaps up onto his hat and his head lights on fire. That doesn't really happen.
No.
Everything else did though.
What everything else is true. The fire doesn't touch him, but suddenly the sky goes black and there's this loud buzzing sound and the wind picks up. And nobody really notices because they're just like staring at this horrible thing in front of them.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, 50 or more orcs down on the group.
Yeah, they're
pro-
The Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles. Yeah, they.
They literally like there's like and they all know what their job is. Like some of
Yeah.
them go down by the fire, they're propelling the flames away from the Scarecrow.
The fire gets blown
What?
out. Yeah, the squadron lands. King fucking
King
Cruel
Cruel.
is blown out of his throne, like flies and hits a wall, and then a giant orc comes and sits on him. So he's taken
Yes.
care of. There's chaos. Everyone's
Googly
running
Goo
around.
is blown up into a tree, gets caught in the crook of the tree. His arms and legs are flailing, and it says he's howling like the coward he is.
Yes.
And all the guards are freaking out. They can't do anything. Like the crowd is like pushed back.
Oh yeah, all the townspeople are like backing away into like this tight group, and they're like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah.
They all stood by and didn't.
They
lift a
did. They
finger.
did. Burn, bitch.
Yeah.
Burn.
There are more people.
You
than
and your
orcs here.
village.
But everyone at this point is just standing like, what the fuck just happened? Because these orcs not only just saved the Scarecrow, but they also defeated the king, who they all hate. And they did it in like 20 seconds,
Yeah.
basically.
The orc unties the Scarecrow, and he's like, "Wow, looks like we were just in time."
Yeah. Yeah, you were. I
yeah.
had tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, my body temperature raised, and I know what happens.
My stomach hurt.
But the orc tells the Scarecrow, "Hey, you're now the master of this land, like of this situation. We're gonna obey your orders." The orc picks up King Cruel's crown, which fell on the ground, puts it on the Scarecrow's head, so he's King Scarecrow for the second time in his life, and he just like does his like weird Scarecrow hobble to the throne and sits down in it, probably for the press.
Yeah. And the whole crowd goes wild. They're cheering. They're hailing the Scarecrow as their new king. They love it.
Oh,
The
and Googly Goo and King Cruel are tied up, right? Or not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay,
well,
sorry.
because so the soldiers are also happy. They're like, now that they know that the king is actually defeated, they're like, okay,
Military
like,
coup.
It's exactly. They're like, it's safe for us now to be like, yeah, we hate that guy because we know that we're not going to be commanded to be put in prison.
Yeah.
So they go grab King Cruel, they tie him up, drag him to the foot of the Scarecrow, and just drop him there like a bag of trash.
Oh yeah, Googly Goo has flailed so much he falls out of the tree, hits the ground. He like tries to like sneak away, thinking no one noticed. No, soldiers grab his ass too, tie him up, throw him down on the ground right next to King Cruel because
That's
he's
right.
a piece of shit too.
Mm-hmm.
And
Everyone remembers.
the Scarecrow looks down at them and he says, "The tables are turned." the Scarecrow also gives it up to the orc and his people because he's like, y'all get all the credit for this. Like,
We're giving you all the jewels.
oh my
all
god!
the-
Remember when I said I want the orc to be like blessed by Ozma or whatever?
Yes, here it is. Here it is.
Yeah. The Scarecrow vows to be his servant,
Oh
and
my
he's like, "You guys
gosh.
did this. Like, there's no other way."
Yeah.
I would have been.
Let the
done.
history books say that the orcs saved the day.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't think about so many orcs flying together, creating such like a storm of wind.
A wind.
Yeah.
Orkland
And
must
the
be
propellers.
crazy.
And
Oh my
stuff.
God.
Oh my god.
Orkland,
yeah.
like nothing. You know how he's like, oh, where Orkland is, we're the fucking kings.
Oh my
it's because
God,
nothing
yeah.
else can inhabit that place.
No.
Yeah, it's a place of stone only.
Some like Vietnam War era song plays.
But that is the end of chapter 18. The Scarecrow meets the enemy. And Blake, what would you meet that?
King Cruel gets burned.
That's
shit.
right.
Hey, Flipper!
Hey,
Thank you for listening to Oz Hour. Please join us next time as we continue with Chapter 19, The Conquest of the Witch. Yeah, get her ass. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Oz Hour Podcast for the latest on everything Oz. Oz Hour, created and hosted by Blake Stone and Wyatt Swingham. Co-hosted by Hannah Aguirre. Audio production by Charlie Johnson. Theme music written and performed by Rudy Klobus. Cover art by Valentin Lucas.